Imagine a life with no fear, not even being scared by what frightens you the most: heights, snakes, spiders, the dark. But what if I told you that there was an individual with no fears? Well, I am Tristan Grant, and this is the case study of SM-046, the woman with no fear. The woman with no fear is referred to as SM, a name to protect her identity given by Justin Feinstein and his research team at the University of Iowa. SM is currently 52 years old and, as mentioned before, has no fear. However, SM hasn't always been living without fear. She remembers being a young child and being afraid of the dark, being startled by her older brother when he jumped from behind objects to spook her, as well as one time being cornered by a large Doberman. But other than the childhood memories, fear has been just that, a memory. The reason for fearlessness? SM has a rare genetic disorder, Urbach-Wyeth disease. Urbach-Wyeth disease has had approximately 400 reported cases since its discovery in 1929 and currently has no cure, but doesn't affect one's life expectancy. The disease can only be inherited in an autosomal recessive manner, thus having two parents that are carriers and receiving the mutated gene from both parents, which gave SM's three healthy children little to no chance of being affected by the rare genetic disorder. Urbach-Wyeth's symptoms vary greatly, including hoarse voice, lesions, scarring on the skin, dry skin, poor wound healing, and beating of the papules around the eyelids. These symptoms are caused by the thickening of the skin and mucous membranes. Another symptom that occurs in 50 to 75% of cases is the hardening of brain tissue due to calcium deposits in the medial temporal lobes. As for SM's case, due to the brain calcification, SM has had a complete bilateral amygdala destruction. The amygdala, something SM's brain no longer possesses, is an almond-shaped mass of gray matter inside each cerebral hemispheres, which plays a part in experiencing emotions. Justin Feinstein explains the amygdala as a mechanism constantly sorting through information coming into the brain through different senses in order to rapidly detect anything that might impact our survival. And once it detects danger, the amygdala orchestrates a rapid full-body response that compels us to stay away from the threat, thereby improving our survival. That being said, Feinstein and the University of Iowa team never mentioning the studying of fear, but instead the studying of emotion, memory, and other general concepts, observed and recorded SM's responses in a variety of situations that would make most people feel fear. This includes exposing her to snakes and spiders, walking through one of the world's scariest haunted houses, and watching a series of horror films. They also had her fill out multiple questionnaires probing different aspects of fear, from the fear of death to the fear of public speaking. SM also recorded her emotions at various times throughout the day into an electronic diary over a 3-month period. During these exposures and experiments, researchers recorded SM as being interested, curious, and excited. She also expressed emotions appropriate to the content, such as happiness and disgust, when shown non-fear inducing film clips. But through it all, SM failed to experience one thing: fear. Even outside of the study, SM has encountered numerous traumatic events that have threatened her very existence, such as being held at both gun and knife point, as well as almost being killed in a domestic violence incident. But although life-threatening, she still reported experiencing no fear in her past. However, along with other patients suffering from bilateral amygdala damage, researchers have discovered an event that causes the woman with no fear to have fear. SM has been found to have fear when she experienced a stimulation of suffocation through carbon dioxide inhalation. Not only did SM and others like SM describe their reaction as a totally new feeling, but test administrators also found that they panicked more quickly and had panic attacks of a greater intensity than those that possessed no amygdala damage. As for suffocation's fear type, They believe that it is not a learned fear or a perceived outside threat, such as a fear of snakes or spiders, which would rely on the amygdala to process, but rather suffocation is a threat that comes from within the body. Since suffocation triggers acidity in the blood to trigger the brain, thus it may not have to rely on the amygdala to interpret the fear, but utilizing other regions of the brain instead. That being said, they have the theory that those that have the loss of amygdala function has a higher chance of developing a panic disorder. In other words, the amygdala may be needed to lower fear, not just anticipate it or trigger some types of terror. All in all, the SM-046 case study has helped researchers to have a better understanding of the amygdala and its functionalities. It has also shed light on the idea of different fears as well as the possible cause of panic attacks. As for SM, she has to constantly be monitoring for danger around her because her body doesn't naturally tell her because why? She is the woman with no fear.